All right, let's have an in-depth analysis of IAM identity and access management. Let's perform a mini lab exercise. Try to touch upon all these topics from IAM root user to IAM managed policies. Let me take you back to AWS Management Console. Here we go. This is my AWS Management Console. So to log into this AWS Management Console, I will use my root user account, my name followed by the company name, organization name. This is the root user account. This is the root user account that was created at the time of signing in to this AWS Management Console. Okay, so here I am in the AWS Management Console. Onto the extreme right, we have the user account details. Here you will find the account ID. Okay, so to begin with, I will capture this account ID. I will keep it in my notepad. So this is the IAM root user. So let us try to create an IAM user. Okay. For that, we need to launch the IAM service. At the search bar, I will type IAM identity and access management. So there are few user accounts available. Let me delete all of them. I will start over from the beginning. Okay, so this is the IAM dashboard. Here, multi-factor authentication for a root user, it is not enabled. This is one of the security recommendations from AWS. I have not enabled. However, if you wish, you can enable this feature. Okay, so we can also provide MFA access for each and every user account that we create. So this lab exercise has been already performed, and all of us, we know what is MFA. Let us not touch upon that. Let's straight away get on to the access management. Under access management, we have user groups, user roles, policy. There are many features. Let's begin with users. I don't want to touch upon straight away with user groups. We will touch upon users, then come back to user groups. I'll create a username called test user. Here you have an option to add a user account. Okay, so let's start creating a user. Click on add users. Provide a name called test. Since I don't want to have a detailed account, I just want to create a test user account, test IAM user account. Here to go with, I have two options to select. Either I can select both or any one of them is a mandatory. I cannot proceed without selecting any of this. Number one, access key, that is programmatic access. Next one is password authentication for AWS Management Console access. So if you select only the first one, that means you are indicating this user account is an AWS API or CLI based user or a software development kit or other development tools, a software related user account. Okay, so by selecting this option, you will not have access to the AWS Management Console. You cannot provide the username and password to log in. Suppose you want to have the AWS Management Console access also, then you will have to select this, the second option. Or if you want to have only the Management Console access for your colleagues, for your team members, 90% of them, they will not be performing the programmatic access, correct? So in that case, you can remove the first option. You can go only with the second option. So for our testing environment, I will go only with the first option. Okay, this user account we are not using. We will just create the account. That's it. All right. So I will select access key, programmatic access, click on next permissions. Here you can see set permissions. We in the theoretical class, we understood about a permission can be set to a group, copy permission from the existing user, or attach existing policy directly, correct? So these are all the three different ways. For this test user, we are not selecting anything. Straight away, I will create a new user account. Maybe I can provide the tag. I'll review and create. I just created a new user account. So since we have selected programmatic access, you can see that access key ID has been provided. Similarly, secret access key has been provided. This is the password for this username. Okay, so the actual username is test, but when you're logging in through your AWS CLI or some APIs, your login username will be this, and the password for that will be this. So the user account that I created just now, it is not having any policy attached. What does that mean? We did not set any role for this user account. This user account cannot log in, cannot perform any activity. This is just a user account in the system. So this user account is called non-explicit user. You remember we touched upon this non-explicit user. This type of users, without having any policy or roles attached, they are called non-explicit user accounts. All right, let us close this and create a group. Now we know how to create a username, correct? Let us create two groups. Okay, now we can see there is a username already created, test, and password MFA is not there. Password age none because we did not select a programmatic. Active key is created, and group, this user does not belongs to any group. Of course, we did not created any group, as well as we did not add. Now let us go to user groups, how to create a group. Okay, to begin with, I will create a group called admin. Okay, so all the administrative activities will be performed by the n number of users who are there or attached to this particular group. So what are all the administrative access? I will search administrator. You can see various types of administrator policies that are available. This is policy number one, AWS SSO directory administrator, database administrator. Okay, likewise, there are so many administrator policies. These are called policies. Okay, we very well remember that we can attach 10 policies to a group, correct? What is that group? The group name is admin. For this admin, we are creating policies. We are attaching policies. You can see the group create group button is enabled. I have selected how many? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'll go with few more. 7, 8, 9, 10. The moment I select the 11th one, the group either it should be disabled or should not be able to, should not allow us to proceed further. Let me click on create group. You can see number of policies to be attached exceeds the limit. How many I have selected? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. All right, let me remove 2 of them. Now, if I click on create group, the admin group has been created. So this clearly says that maximum 10 policies can be attached to a particular group, not beyond that. Correct? So similarly, we'll create one more group. Okay. This time we will call that group name as maybe level 1 users. The group name itself is level 1 users. Just like the admin group, what we have created, we will search for user policies. Okay, once again, here I can add 10 policies maximum. So remember, we were talking about roles. What is that role? This particular policy, if you expand it, you will see these are all the roles that can be performed by support user. What are that? ACM describe certificate. There are so many. CloudFront get access, CloudFront list access, CloudFront describe access. Similarly, we should have EC2 also. It's in alphabetical order. Yes, you can see EC2 describe. That means here, this particular user, any user who is there in this particular group that we are creating now, that is a level 1 user, they will have access to EC2 resources. They can check which EC2 instance is running. Okay, so if you want, you can select some of them and delete them. That means you're fine-tuning this policy. You don't want all these policies to be attached, but you need this super user policy to be attached. Correct? So here also I will go with maybe 10, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Let me add one more, try to create the group. Okay, here space, it will not accept. Okay, I have selected. Now we can see number of policies to be attached exceed the limits. I will remove one among them. So now it becomes 10 policies attached to this group. Click on create a group. So now you can see there are 2 groups that are created. One is admin, second one is level 1 users. So we have created 2 user groups. The next is we will create users, add these users to any of these groups. So the moment we add any user to this group, that particular user will be able to perform all the activities of these policies that are attached. So right now it says there are no users attached to these groups. We will go ahead, create a user. We will create 3 types of users. Okay, I'm creating a user. So let me take, can I borrow your name for creating the?
Please go ahead, sir.
Okay. Okay, I'll take one username, Sri Hari. Okay, so Sri Hari will, I will provide both the access. He can perform AWS CLI tasks. He's an administrator, as well as he need AWS Management Console access. I will provide that as well. And for this user, I will select auto-generated password. Okay, if I select custom password, I need to provide the password. Okay, so I'm not doing that. I will select auto-generated password. User must create a new password at next sign in. I will select this option, click on next permissions. And here we have 3 options to go with. Add this user to the existing group, or copy permissions from existing user. The third option is attach existing policy directly. So I will go with the first option. Okay, add user to this group. I can select any one group, or I can select multiple groups. Got it? Likewise, I can select 10 different groups. So what happens if I select Sri Hari username for these two groups? How many user policies he will have?
30.
No, as of now, 10 each. Attach from that, apart from that, we can select attach existing policy directly. That also we can select. In that case, he will have 30. But right now, he has only 20 because two groups, each group is having 10 policy. If you click on more, you will see what are all the policies that are available. Okay, so these are all the policies attached, 10 policies that are attached to this particular group. So similarly, if I select the level 1 users, once again, I will see how many policies attached. What are all those policies? So you can see this is a user level access provided for the user group 1, level 1 user group. This is for administrator. Now let's go back. So I will select this user to be an administrator. So only 10 policies are attached. There are no additional policies directly attached to this user. Click on next tags. If you want, this is optional, providing tags. I will not provide any tags. I will skip this test. Next, click on create user. So here we have the username, Srihari. The access key ID is this. The secret access key is provided. Password is also provided, and send email. In the corporate world, how it happens, let us say you joined a new team or a new organization. So your reporting manager will do this task. Either he will do it or he will assign this task to one of his team leaders. That team leader will create your user account profile and send an email to your reporting manager. Okay, this is the send email button. The moment you click on send email button, all this information is captured and it is shared by email. So that email is provided to you, asking you to log in with those credentials and follow the password policy to change the password. Got it? So here I will capture this information. So this is my AWS account root user ID. I have created user 1. And access key ID. Next, I have secret access key. Next, password to login. This is the password. What else information I have? That's it. Correct. So I will close this user account now. Here's an administrator. So now the user account has been created. If we go to user groups, So under admin user group, there is one user added. Under level 1 users, there are no usernames added so far. And here you can see we are in IAM service. It is changed to global. It is not related to any specific region or availability zone. Now, since we have logged off this, we have created this new user account, let us test this user account. Okay, I will sign out. I will sign out from my root user account. I will log into the new user account. To log into the new user account, we are not selecting the root user account because it is an IAM user account what we have created. We will have to provide that account ID. Remember, I captured the account ID. I'll capture the account ID. I will provide the account ID. And what is the password? What is the username to begin with? Correct? So here we have the account ID, the username, and the password. Everything has been provided. Sign in. Maybe the password.
The username you have to mention SHRI, sir, because I remember seeing as SHRI.
Oh, okay. Let me try that. Okay, good. Thank you for noticing that. Now you can see this is the password policy that was set. You remember we have selected that feature stating that the user has to change the password at the very first login. So the old password has been provided. We'll have to provide the new password. I have provided the new password. Now you can see the new user is able to log in. And here you can see the name has been changed. Correct? The user account, IAM user @ root user accounts ID. Correct? This is your corporate name. In your case, your corporate name will be there. Company's name will be there. Srihari @ infosys.com or tcs.com, hp.com, like that. Okay. Now this user is a administrator. What are all the things he can do? He can do anything and everything. He has got complete privilege. Is it so? Shall we try? I will open IAM, Identity and Access Management. Let's check. Is he having access? Yes, he has access. So we have 2 user groups created, 2 usernames created. Let's try. Can he create a new user? He is my team leader, correct? I'm the manager. I have entrusted Srihari to perform the activities of adding new users to my team. So now Srihari is the administrator. He will go ahead and create a couple of users. Let's do that. Click on add users. I'll take one more participant's name. Okay. This time I will take the participant name as Uma Mahesh. And I will select password management. This time I will provide custom password. I had given a password. Let's see the password. What is that I had given? I gave p @ SS 123456778. User must create a new password at next sign in. No, I don't want. I will hard code this password. Use it is optional. User, whenever he or she want to change, they can change it. Next, click on permissions. Do you want this new user to be added to admin or level 1 user? No, I don't want him. I'll just create the user, but I will attach the existing policy directly. Let's do that. Let us make this user an administrator without even adding him to the existing administrator groups. I will select the third option, attach existing policy directly. Okay, what is that access? I will select administrator access. Okay, one policy is enough. We will not go with the 10 different policies. This administrative access itself will provide complete access to our IAM, EC2, all those things. Next, click on tags. I don't want to provide anything. Click on create user. This time, you can see only the username is provided. No password information is provided. Unlike our previous thing, access key ID was not provided, secret access key was not provided, password was not provided, correct? Why? Because we did not selected that particular feature. We have selected directly root user account, that is the AWS Management Console access, correct? Programmatic access we did not select. So that's why these two information it did not provide. How about the password? Password it did not show because we have selected custom password. We know very well what was the password that we gave, correct? So here the user 2 is that correct? Yes. And the password I gave, this is the password that I gave. All right, let's close this. So this indicates Sri Hari, the administrator in the group, he is capable of creating new users, performing all the admin related tasks. Now you can see there are 3 user accounts, Sri Hari, 1 test and 1 Uma Mahesh. Uma Mahesh does not belongs to any group, as well as test user also, but Sri Hari is an administrator, correct? So can Sri Hari elevate Uma Mahesh to administrator? Yes, of course he can do it. As well as Uma Mahesh is already an administrator because we have directly attached a policy to him, administrator policy. Now let's do one thing. Sri Hari, he is trying to explore the features. What are the features available in AWS? Okay, so he will go to groups. He's trying with his own user account. Okay, so he will see what is this group name admin is there. There are so many things. Let me see what happens. Okay, remove from this group. Can he remove? Of course he can do it because he's an administrator, right? Okay, good. Now what happens? Sri Hari removed himself from the administrative groups. He is no longer an administrator, correct? He's just a normal user, to the extent he can't even see his own dashboard. He can't go to user groups. He became a normal user. He lost the permissions, whatever that was provided. Now let us sign off from Sri Hari's account. Let us log in back with Uma Mahesh account. I'll have to provide the 12-digit ID. Here we go. Uma Mahesh. The password is PAP@SS12345678. I'll click on sign in.
The username wrong. Uma Mahesh, M-A-H-E-S.
Okay, I'm so sorry. All right, now we can see I'm able to log in with the Uma Mahesh account. This time it did not ask for the password change, correct? Because we did not select that option. The user must change the password at next sign in. We did not select that. Another thing, remember, we attached the policy directly to this user, though this user is not under admin group. So we'll check what are all the things that he can do, he can perform. So once again, here you can see the username Uma Mahesh @ root user account ID is provided. Can he check users? Of course, he can check. Correct. Though Uma Mahesh does not fall is under user groups, he is still a administrator because we have attached that administration policy directly to this user account. Correct. So now you can see there are no usernames available. Sri Hari now realized his mistake. He will go and approach Uma Mahesh. Uma Mahesh, could you please do me a favor? This is what the mistake happened. Please add me back to the group, admin group. Yes, of course. He will, his colleague anyways, he will help. There are two ways to do it. You can select on the admin group. You can make changes, or you can go to user accounts, select Sri Hari, the name. Select groups. As of now, he's not belongs to any groups. Add user to group. Admin, correct? Yes. So now we can see both of them are administrator, but one user is in the group. Another user is not in the group, but the policy has been attached directly. Now we can see Sri Hari once again, he's back into the admin groups. All right, can Uma Mahesh create a new user account? Yes, of course he can do it. This time, let us do one thing. Let us click on add user. Since Uma Mahesh is an administrator, he can perform all the administrative activities. Let me take one more participant's name, maybe Satya. Okay, and he will be once again the password AWS Management Console. I want this user to have access. Custom password I will give. Show password. I don't want the user to change the password at the next sign in. Click on next permissions. And we already explored adding user to the group and attaching policy directly, right? This time, let me select copy permission from the existing user. Which user you want to copy permission? You have all the users. I will say, I want all the access control of what Uma Mahesh has got. I don't know Sri Hari, he may be an admin. I don't know what are all the activities he does, but my job role is equivalent to Uma Mahesh. So whatever the activities that he performs on daily basis, I should be able to perform. So please copy all the permissions from this existing user. Okay, good. I'll go ahead, I'll do it. Click on next. Click on review, create user. That's it. The new user has been created. With this user, we can log in and perform all the activities. Got it? So this way, we can create usernames and attach the policies in different ways, 3 different ways. Correct? So what are all the 3 different ways? One, we can create a user, attach that user to the group, existing group available. We will attach all the policies to that group. Okay, so whatever policies are attached, that comes to that user. Next is copying policy from the existing user. The third option is creating a user and attaching the policy directly to that user. Now, since Uma Mahesh is just an administrator, I will add this user to an admin group. I will select admin group, maybe level 1 user group also. Okay, so can someone tell me how many policies are attached to Uma Mahesh user account? Correct. Actually 20. On finger count, if you take 21, but this system administrator policy is already attached into Uma Mahesh account. Number of policy, if you start ticking, it comes to 21, but there is one policy that has got a duplication. It is already available in admin, and also it is available with directly attached policy. So thereby Uma Mahesh will have 20 policies. So likewise, if Uma Mahesh is having a 10 policy already attached, he will have 10 plus 10 plus 10, 30. Likewise, Uma Mahesh can be added into 10 groups. So that means 10 groups into 10 policies, that is 100 policy plus 10 policy attached to his own name directly. So 110 policies can be attached to a single IAM user. So next we have, we had something like a permission boundaries, correct? So where do we see that? So we can go to user groups. So we'll select one of the administrator group or whatever. Here we have permissions. Okay, we have add permissions. Under that, we have attach policy, additional policy. If you want, you can attach. Since already 10 policies attached, we cannot do it. Create inline policy. Okay, you can select inline, create inline policy. These create inline policies are the policies that are embedded to a particular policy. You can see here, service, choose a service. I'll select maybe elastic load balancer. This elastic load balancer has got, these are all the access levels, list, read, tag, write, correct? These things are already selected by default. Suppose you want to make changes, you can check what are all the inline policy. If you expand this, describe load balancers. So write, read, write. In read, these are all the different inline policies that can be attached. By default, they're already attached. Okay, so under write operation, these are all the options that are available. These are all about the inline policy. Remember, we were telling about JSON script. The policies will be written in JSON script format. This is how it is. So here you can see whatever the policy in the previous screen that we had seen, all of them are allowed. So actions are elastic load balancing, description load balancers. For all of them, it is allowed. If you type deny, so he will not have any of these policies. Though attached, he will not have any policies because we have set the permission to deny. Okay. Similarly, we had one more option called permission boundaries, correct? That we can see in user account. While creating the user account, we'll go to users. We'll select one of the users, maybe Shri Hari. This permission boundary we will get at the time of creation of the user account, or we will also get it separately. I will show both the things. Here for the existing user, what is permission boundary? We can set the minute details. We can edit or delete some of the permissions that are available, correct? So for this user, we have selected administrator access. If we select administrator access, you can add or delete under administrative access. What are all the things that he can do? As of now, it has got access analyzer, account, activate, Alexa for business. Everything is there. All are full access, correct? So this we can edit, we can alter if it is required. We can remove some of them, or we can make changes. So once again, we have the JSON script. We can select that accordingly. We can make changes. Okay, so this is about the permission boundaries. And the last option is password policy. Where do we get that?
Sir, I have a doubt here.
Yes, please.
On the password boundaries.
Uh-huh.
So can we have a set of custom boundaries and then create a sort of rule for it?
Yes, of course, of course, we can do that. Very much we can do that. That is what the intention of permission boundaries. Permission boundaries is altering the default policies that has been provided by AWS. Okay, so those policies, default policies, we can tweak. We can remove some of the permission boundaries that are set by AWS. We can say, yes, I need an administrative access for this user, but under administrative access, I don't want to provide administrative access for all the AWS services. I want to provide access only for EC2, maybe ELB or S3, not for remaining. So all other things I can delete. Got it?
Yes, got it. Thank you.
Okay, you're welcome. So next we have password policy, setting up password policy, correct? So that option is available under dashboard. We have user management. We touched upon user groups, users, roles, policy. Further, we have account setting. If we go to account setting, see, these are all the password policy that has been already set by AWS account. Minimum password length is 10 characters. I will say, oh my God, why should I give 10 characters? 8 characters is more than enough. Minimum 8 characters. I will reduce it. We'll see how to do that. Require at least one uppercase, lowercase character. Okay. Request at least one number. Okay. Request special characters. That is fine. Password expired in 30 days. We will change some of them. So then minimum password character, I will say 8. This is how it works in our corporate environment. In some organization, they may set 12 characters or 15 characters. This is how they change it. Require at least one uppercase letter. If I remove it, your password need not to have an uppercase letter. Okay, let it be. That is a best practice. One lowercase, that let it be. Require at least one number, let it be. Require special characters. I don't want to give special characters because most of my users, they use handheld devices or tablets to connect to the environment. It will be difficult for them to navigate, shuttle between screens to select the special characters. In some Android devices, all these special characters are not provided. Maybe the user provided one of these special character from his laptop. He created the password, but when he's trying to log in through his handheld device, that character is not available in his handheld device. He's not able to log in. So let me remove this. Enable password expiration. 30 days is too short. I will set it 90 days. Yes, of course, you can do it. Password expiration requires administrator reset. If you set this, what happens? If the password is expired, after the 90 days, also the user did not reset the password. He had forgotten, he or she. So when they log in next time, it says your password is expired. Please go back to your administrator to get the password reset if this option is not checked. So I have provided this so that the user has to come back to me so that I can warn them next time if you miss it, I'm sorry, I will not help you in resetting the password. Okay, allow user to change their own password. If this option is disabled, then they will not be able to do it. Prevent password use reuse. That means last 2 times, whatever the password that we had given in the last 180 days, 2 times when you reset the password, that password you cannot use it. You can use different password. If I say 5, last 5 passwords you cannot use. Got it? If I remove this, of course, you can use the same password every time. Whatever password that you gave now, next time also you can give the same password. So this is the password policy management that we can set. Please remember, this kind of feature is available with all the service providers, not only cloud service providers. If you go to Microsoft Active Directory, it's available. If you go to on-premises databases that you are using. It could be Oracle, SAP. Yes, they also have. So the administrator will set as per the company standard that need to be followed. The password policy has to be followed. So this is the way we can change the password. All right, we can set the password policy. So with this, we'll be reaching at the end of IAM Lab exercise. We will move on to the next topic.